and that's just one of my favorite things to do in the world. I love spending quality time on the instrument with no expectations from the audience, from myself, from anything in the world, just me, the instrument, and creating something. It's almost a spiritual experience. And unfortunately, a lot of people miss out on that opportunity. Maybe you start playing with, you know, the love of this spiritual experience, musical spiritual experience, and then you forget about it, and then you get into the clutter of this online world that we live in, and it's really difficult to get out of it. So I don't want you to be in that place, and this is a self-care thing, not a real lesson, but watch this. I want to help you out. I want to help you regain joy in music, and that's coming up. Hi, my name is David Walleman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players like you find your voice on the instrument, develop it to tell your own musical story. And today we are going to talk about that development thing and finding your voice, but in a non-conventional way, because it does not involve the instrument. It doesn't involve a lesson. It doesn't involve theory. It involves your approach and your mental state of mind. And I think today, especially today in this day and age with Facebook, YouTube, which you're watching right now, email and all those things, it's very easy to start believing the lie. The lie that you're not good enough, and the lie that that guitar player is way better than you are, and you need to achieve that in order to achieve success in music. And that's a lie. That is a lie. I promise you, it's not true. Okay, before we really get started, I want to preface this by saying that striving for something better musically, striving to obtain something that you don't have yet is healthy. It can be healthy to work on your skill, to develop that. But where it becomes unhealthy is when you are never satisfied with your progress and when you're always frustrated with the way that you play, regardless of how you play. And that's something that we can break away from, hopefully. I want you to be happy. That's really my goal here in this video. And I've suffered from this, and many of my friends have suffered from this. And I'm talking about guys that you would think have it all, musically that is, that they really obtained that fluidity in playing and technical ability that is unreachable, that there's that word again, and unfortunately they are not satisfied, and that's a shame. And the reason they're not satisfied is that they are somehow compare themselves to other players. Let's get outside of the small guitar world niche for just a little bit and talk about life. Just a tiny bit. What makes you? What makes you? I don't know. What makes you? Is what makes you really what makes you? I don't know. Maybe it's a self-discovery thing. You might be, you know, very, very influenced by your peers and the way you dress, the things you listen to, and the way you talk. And that's natural to do that. But I want you to ask yourself, if you were truly you, who would you be? And I mean really you. What would you listen to? Regardless of what others think you should listen to. Maybe you'd listen to, you know, medieval music, and that's your thing. That's cool, that's great. Maybe techno, and your peers and the world you're in tells you that you should not listen to electronic music. You're a guitar player. No. Who would you be? And ask yourself those questions. And ask yourself the question with no guitar in your hand, because as soon as you grab an instrument, you're going to start conditioning yourself like a guitar player. And that's going to influence your train of thoughts. Don't do that. As a matter of fact, what I would love you to try to do is to stay away from the guitar for a full 24 hours. Don't even listen to guitar music for a little while. If you're in that state of mind where you're feeling discouraged and all that, unplug for a little bit from any guitar-related topics. Don't even watch this video. Well, finish watching this video, then unplug. Just give it a try and see what comes up. Take a walk. Take a walk with no music in your ears. No music. Make your own music in your ear. Just go somewhere where it's somewhat peaceful and imagine something. See what comes up. That's really important. The reason I'm saying all this is that I've talked to some of my peers that are professional musicians in the sense that they make a full-time living with that, but they're never happy with what they say, and their vocabulary is very excuse-orientated, like, I could do better, or I don't like this part, or there's modesty, but maybe it's a little bit too much sometimes. I'm guilty of this. I'm totally guilty. But the truth is, there's part of me that's really happy with what I do, with what I play. Some people are going to start commenting saying, David, you're so arrogant. You're satisfied with what you play? Yeah, I am. And if I'm not, then I'll work on it. But for the most part, I'm happy. I feel fulfilled. I'm not saying it's the greatest music ever in the world, but it's close to who I want to be musically, and that's what counts. It makes me happy. The question I think you should be asking yourself is, if you're alone in the room and you're just recording a piece or playing something or writing something, and that something is never going to be heard by anyone but you, are you happy with what you wrote, with what you did? And if the answer is yes, awesome. You can say that to other people. You can say, hey, I wrote this piece, I'm really excited. I love it. It's great. And other people are going to rejoice depending on where you share this. So again, how do you achieve this? I think the first step is to unplug. It doesn't have to be very long, but unplug for maybe 24 hours or 48 hours. When I say unplug, don't try to seek other people's opinion on your music. Take time to discover who you are. Go on a walk, like I said, with nothing in your ears, no music, nothing but the music that is going to come from inside of you. At first, it's going to be hard to hear it. It's going to be a very, very subtle voice. And then gradually, as you take time to unplug and to go on a walk or whatever it is you do to cut the noise out, you're going to hear that inner voice come out, that music. You're going to start to hear something. And pay attention, because that's going to tell you a lot of things about who you are. And you're going to discover some things. And even if what you're hearing is maybe not what you thought you should be hearing, you're most likely going to like what you hear. And that's where you should go. And I'm telling that to not only beginners, but professional musicians that I talk to who are frustrated. I'm telling that to myself in the future when I'm frustrated. I'm going to have to watch this. Seriously, take a break and unplug. And then once you did that walk, that silent time, apart from all the things that you're usually doing, and once you hear that voice, that's where you go into your creative space with whatever instrument you're using, guitar, keyboard, whatever, and that's where you try to bring out what you heard on that silent time. See what comes out, and really make the work to transcribe, to translate what you heard inside as best as you can on whatever instrument you have at hand. It might be your voice, keyboard, guitar, doesn't matter. But that's really going to help you bring out what's inside of you, and you're going to discover some things on you. Now, where it's really important when you do this, don't do this in front of a camera, or don't do this with the expectation to show it to the world. Just do it as a self-discovery exercise. Maybe it'll be released at some point. That's okay. But try really to do the work for yourself and find joy in that moment of creating something. I know that some of you might be a little confused because yes, most of my lessons here on this channel are lessons, are tools, equipping you to be able to bring out that voice, that inner voice. But it starts with the inner voice. And I think a lot of people, a lot of players forget about it, about the original voice that they heard before starting to play, that excitement, and then they're caught up into the you're not good enough, or look at this player, you'll never attain that. And it's true, you might never obtain that, but that's okay, because what you perceive maybe as an extra technical ability, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just that what you really want to achieve is what that person is at its core, at his core. And you're never going to achieve that because that's not you. You're going to achieve better because your core is you. Nobody can play the way you play on the instrument. I really believe that. If you equip yourself with the tools and you do that work of finding what's inside of you, really nobody can touch it. So that's really what I have for you today. I truly hope that you take this to heart. take a break from all the clutter, take a break from this channel for a few days. That's okay. And discover who you are. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comment below. Have you done this work before? Are you in that state of mind where you feel really discouraged musically? If so, why do you think that is? Do you think it is from that clutter? Any thoughts? Am I completely off? Do you disagree with that? Anything, just let me know below. Love to know. Let's start this discussion, and back to regular content very soon, but I hope this was encouraging to you. Really, again, nobody can play the way you play on the instrument. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to do that. I've got about 3 videos coming every week, usually guitar lessons, but sometimes music lessons and talks like this. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you very soon.